serving of Mickey Waffles, a Disney podcast where we cover everything from parks, movies, and merchandise. My name is Sinead.
My name's Kate.
And my name's Breff.
If you couldn't tell, we have a special guest.
Hello. Hello, everybody. It is the previously mostly invisible, except for Guest Star Tuesday, consulting producer of this show, Breffni O'Sullivan. How are you?
AKA always known as the lovely Breffni.
Hey.
It's me. I'm currently being held hostage, so if you guys wouldn't mind sending help to
The studio.
that would be absolutely fantastic.
Why was there such a pause there, Breffni? We're obviously in the studio. I don't know what your problem was.
It's a bit like the secret bunker location. It's
fair.
it's just off the A93, just by Scunthorpe.
Second star to left, straight on till morning.
I was
exactly.
Thank you.
If you see a
We'll
lad,
keep it Disney, shall we?
if you see a lad sitting on the fence, you've gone too far.
Gotcha.
Oh,
Yeah.
lovely.
Anyway, welcome, guys.
Okay, I feel like it's been forever.
It's like the first time in forever.
For the first time in forever.
Oh, stop.
It's been fun, guys. I'm off.
So last week was a bit different.
Yeah, we did a pre-recorded episode where we just waffled on, for lack of a better phrase, about Disney stuff that we love.
Yes.
Did you guys enjoy? Let us know.
They were asking me. I was like, yeah, I enjoyed it greatly.
No. So how have you been?
Good. Yeah. It's been very warm.
It has. Oh my god, lads. It's been boiling.
I thought the other day, I thought I was going to die from sweating so much.
I was in London last week and it was 37 degrees.
That's too hot.
Which I looked it up in Fahrenheit for any American listeners. I think that's like 104 degrees.
Stop. Well, then we could easily go to Florida.
And I lasted one day where I only stayed indoors in the aircon. I'm perfectly well equipped.
Like, I walked around for a while and I was like, I was sweaty, obviously, because the humidity was disgusting. But I'm like, puts all my fears of going to Florida, like, down the drain.
See, in fairness, you just kind of soldier on with it.
Yeah.
Because when I was in Florida, it was like 32 to like 36 degrees every day. And you do just kind of, no, don't get me wrong, you're dead.
Yeah.
But you just kind of, it's Disney. Just get on with it.
Yeah, very much.
Soldier on. How are you, Breff?
I'm good. I am not enjoying the heat.
No.
I am bald and extremely pale. Those two things are not good.
I mean, at least you don't have any hair to retain any extra heat.
Oh, yeah, that's the worst.
You do raise a good point. It has been very helpful for that.
Yeah. Nice bit of ventilation.
Yeah, like, whew.
Exactly.
That was the ventilation for you.
Is that? Oh, that's what that was. Okay, cool. Yeah, it's been pretty good. I'm working on the sister podcast to this show.
Ooh, tell us more.
It is the Intercontinental Breakfast, an Irish wrestling podcast with me and Nathan Charlesworth, where every week we talk about wrestling at various times and in various combinations. It's good fun. Look it up.
Woohoo! Well, be sure to link it in the show notes. An exciting thing Disney-wise that myself and Breffni did,
Yes.
which you will be doing soon, is we paid off the rest of DLP.
Oh, yes, I'm just waiting for money.
Oh, so happy that that's just out the way.
Yeah,
I'm very relieved about that.
Yeah, so our lovely stay in Sequoia Lodge is done, dusted, paid for it. All we have to do is show up and probably fill in a lot of paperwork.
But you know what? For our safety, I'll do it.
Oh yeah. One thing that we did learn for Sequoia Lodge though, from watching Adam Hatton's vlogs, is bring extension lead.
Oh, yeah, because there's only like
Two
one socket in the entire thing.
Stuff.
Like, that's not enough.
By the time you charge your phones and cameras and everything else involved,
That's it.
absolutely not.
No,
God love you if any kids have tablets or anything like that if you're staying in that sort of place, because that's just not going to work for anybody.
No, they definitely need to follow suit of American parks.
Yeah.
At all their resorts, which have like all their newly
USB
refurbished
ports.
ones. Yeah, they have like 8 sockets, like 4 USB ports. They're all beside the bed. They're all really handy access. So they really need to be getting up on that.
Yeah. Hopefully, when New York is done, they might give Sequoia Lodge a bit of a refurb.
And honest to God, I thought you meant the resort in New York City,
No.
and I was like, "What is this?" But no.
Now, yeah, Lula.
Sorry.
Right. So enough waffling on.
Oh yeah,
Should we get on to the news?
we shall. So the first thing we're going to talk about is obviously DLP news, and it's very exciting.
I'm real intrigued by
It's
this.
so exciting that I feel like there's going to be a lot of shade thrown about it. Magic shots for the first time have been introduced to DLP, specifically for the Lion King and Jungle Festival season. They're only available between 12:30 and 2:30, but until September 22nd.
They look really cool. A couple of people have posted it on Instagram. And I think I mainly saw it on Twitter though. But you get a picture with your group and it has the logo of the festival and then it's Simba, Pumbaa and Timon.
Yeah.
I feel like I said that in the wrong order and it felt really strange.
They're doing that like walk. The walk that they do across
the Hakuna Matata walk.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's really cute.
It's very exciting.
Seemingly they're testing it to potentially roll it out at other things. I'm hoping...
Halloween.
Honestly. But because for instance, the magic shots that you get in Walt Disney World around Halloween, particularly at the parties, like they do have specific photographers set up in certain areas to do
Specific
different
things.
ones. So you can get one where you're holding the poison apple. You can get one with the hitchhiking ghosts. You can get one with the dancers that I mentioned on our last episode, where the dancers kind of twirl in and there's
Yeah.
Haunted Mansion music.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm really hoping that this doesn't go away and die a death on September 22nd.
No, yeah.
I hope that they continue to roll this out because magic shots are great.
Even just like your classic ones of like holding out your hand and then putting like
Tinkerbell.
Tinkerbell in your hand.
Yeah.
Or Pascal on your shoulder.
I think you can get one with a balloon as well.
I just feel like they can't be that difficult to do.
Yeah, I think it's more so.
Because surely it's just a picture with an overlay on it.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's some training that would be needed for the PhotoPass photographers, but I really, really hope they keep them. Do you know what we mean by magic shots?
I just figured it out because I was going to ask you when you finished informing the lovely audience about this coming on September the 22nd.
Until
September 20th. So it's running at the minute.
This going away at September the 22nd.
Yeah. So it's basically you go and you get a picture in whatever land area. These particular ones you can only get in Adventureland. So you'd find the PhotoPass photographer and you can get just, I suppose, generic pictures within the land, but then they will kind of insert in the image of whatever the magic shot is.
Okay. So like Kate said, a bit like a Photoshop overlay nearly.
Yeah, kind of, but they need to make sure it's like on the money, like.
Oh, I see what you mean. Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
But like people will have them there, like all the photographer asks them to do is like hold out their hands in like a cupped position almost. And then when you get the picture on your PhotoPass app, like Tinkerbell will be stood there.
Yeah.
Like in your hands.
They'll tell you to make like a shocked expression
Yeah.
or something like that.
And
Oh,
you're like,
that's kind of
"Oh
cool.
my God,
I
it's
like that
Tinkerbell."
idea.
Or they also do them where like Pascal's on your shoulder. So
Quite fond of that
obviously, yeah, so you need to like, it needs to be precise because otherwise it looks crap. But I feel like it's definitely something that's well doable for DLP.
Any extras to PhotoPass are fully
It's-
welcomed with both arms from myself.
But it also just makes people want to buy PhotoPass more.
Absolutely. Like, I suppose it's easy for us to say because we have it free with our annual passes, but I mean, if you could get cute family pictures on Main Street with the castle, but then you could also get the cute magic shots
Yeah,
for the
it
season
just
that
makes
you're
it
there.
it just makes it so much more worth the money that you're paying for it.
Exactly.
It gives it a little bit more of an incentive than just go, here's your photos.
Yeah, when they don't even offer that many in DLP to begin with.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So, fingers crossed it's something that they continue with.
And if there's any going for our trips, we'll 100% be tracking them down.
All and any. Any of
Oi,
it.
you there, man with the camera. Come here to me.
Speaking of things that I hope DLP holds on to, they earlier in the year released a Pirates of the Caribbean book where it kind of went through the story of Pirates of the Caribbean and stuff about the ride and everything like that. And they've come out with a Phantom Manor one.
Oh, wow, what a surprise. Bet Sinead wants it.
I'm so excited. It's really pretty. If you go onto ED92's Twitter and kind of, I suppose, scroll back probably a while by this time this
Take a
gets
shot.
released, they've digitally uploaded certain pages so you can get an idea of what it's going to be like, but it's got some of the concept art, what the manor looked like before the Phantom invaded, all that kind of stuff. So this is getting released this week. As we're recording, it's tomorrow, but it's July 31st and it is $19.99 from the Mercantile Building within Thunder Mesa.
That's such a good value
€20
price.
like, and it's beautiful. So I assume they have a limited quantity,
Yeah.
but I'm hoping, because I think they have restocked the Pirates one since.
Oh, okay.
So
it'll
I'm
probably be
really
there.
holding out hope that I can get this Phantom Manor book because
Yeah,
it's
it's exciting.
beautiful.
So it is very much a park exclusive.
Oh, absolutely.
Not only is it a park exclusive, it's a Disneyland Paris exclusive.
Ah.
Yeah.
Because the Phantom Manor isn't in any of the other parks.
Yeah.
Of course.
It's the Haunted Mansion in other parks and something else that I can't remember what it's called in Japan. But yeah,
Mystic Manor.
that's the one.
But yeah, I mean, you'll get to experience Phantom Manor later this year, Breff. How excited are you?
I am very excited. Most of my excitement comes by proxy, being around Sinead
What can I say?
for the last while,
Just-
and and being in DLP last year when there were hoardings all around it, and Sinead, as I can only really best described as looking mournfully
Yeah.
in the direction of it, especially when we were on the boat.
Get a real nice view of Phantom Manor when you're on the Molly Ground.
So I am excited for this, purely because this might be one of the most hyped things in
Oh,
Disney
dear.
for me. But as a result of that, I really don't know what to expect, because as we'll detail a bit later on, Sinead lies about stuff when it comes to certain things in Disney parks.
Oh.
All right.
I was like, where's this going?
Stop discrediting me on my own podcast.
Anyway, moving on. Thirdly, in today's news, previously we talked about random drops being brought to Tower of Terror Disneyland Paris.
Mm-hmm.
This has been officially confirmed
Yes.
to start on September 28th, because I know we've said confirmed a couple of times.
But they
But-
also just previously said Halloween, but
Yeah.
I mean, unless they give you a specific date, I don't trust
I
anything.
don't trust DLP in the slightest. So we have an official confirmation that it is coming to the tower on September 28th.
Yeah.
But there was some extra news that there's going to be new stories and told by a character, but a character that already exists.
Yeah. They haven't confirmed who the character is or,
Or
anything
what
like
stories, is it going to be, I presume it's going to be like the pre-show story or the story on the ride?
that. I don't know.
No, neither do I, but these are the questions we must ask. I'm excited.
I don't know whether I'll
Go on it.
experience it. I'm not the biggest fan of Terror of Terror. I don't like drop rides.
No, that's
They're
fair.
not my fave. I might try it once just to say I've done
Yeah.
the new version of it.
I mean, I could go on it first, and if it's not worth it, I can tell you not to bother.
Oh, maybe we'll do that.
Because I'll happily go on it more than once.
That is a
This
good
is true.
plan.
Yeah. So
You plan to go on it. don't
I'd
you?
go on that, yeah. Because it doesn't tilt from side to side or
No.
go upside down. It just goes up
up and down. Yeah.
That's fine.
As a completely controlled drop.
Yep,
'Cause
that's
it's
it.
not even a drop, it's a pull.
And I watched that engineering video about how
Yeah.
it works.
Isn't
and
that so interesting?
It's fantastic, and it just completely eliminated any fear that I have
Yeah.
around it.
Excellent. Good stuff.
I've also watched that video. It did not eliminate any fear that I had.
Completely controlled
But it's
pull.
20 minutes of science.
Yeah, but it's only a little lap, but it's scary.
So, really, really excited for this. I'm very excited to see what the new stories are. Also, during the week, I watched somebody's vlog, and they got the actual ride sequence in English.
Oh.
Oh,
And it wasn't just the pre-show that was in English, they got the actual ride in English. So when it's like you are welcome to the tower and and then they drop, where that bit's all in French, it was in English.
I honestly never even noticed there was words.
So now I'm like, it's the whole story!
Clearly I was so
Terrified.
petrified that I just shut off all senses.
Yes, so I'm excited to see if there's possibly a 50-50 split with the news stories.
Like what they did with Phantom.
Phantom, yeah, that maybe half of it's going to be in English, half of it's going to be in French, or what the crack is. But anyway, I'm really, really excited.
Interesting. We'll see if I try to. We might have to
I'll
pay our
go
visit.
first.
Yeah, and then we'll pay a visit to the Disneyland Hotel. I'll have an overpriced cocktail and I'll be feeling ready for it.
and you get to take away the little thing that it comes in as well.
My little glow cube.
Yeah.
The glow cube?
The glow cubes.
They're fun.
You said that like it was a thing you didn't want, Breffni.
Glow cubes.
I didn't get one last time.
I'm sure if you asked, they'd put it in your beer.
Yeah, just it costs $4.99.
I will take that $4.99.
What's next, Sinead?
Well, we're keeping it on the spooky train and we've had more updates for Disneyland Paris
Choo
and the Halloween time. We are going to do a full episode about Halloween at DLP. We're hoping that we can coincide it with the launch of Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party in Walt Disney World, because in my mind, that's when Halloween starts.
Yeah, August 16th?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So, August 17th, full run-in of DLP. We did ask on our Instagram if anybody had any questions or specifics that they wanted to know. We have made a note of all those questions. We'll probably pop another one up before we record it, but
Yeah.
just keep an eye out. But anyways, we've had some exciting announcements for the Halloween parties, which are taking place on the 26th of October and the 31st of October.
I've just remembered what they are. Continue.
New this year, we're going to have Goofy and Max with their spooky space party,
I'm
which is real difficult to say.
So excited. Not only do I love space, I also love Goofy and Max.
So this will be taking place in Discoveryland, and it says, dance like a robot and express yourself with Goofy and Max from midnight. Dance to the rhythm of a famous DJ. It doesn't say what famous DJ, but just an famous DJ.
Maybe it's all of them. Maybe it's every famous DJ
every
simultaneously.
Either way, I think this will be really fun. I hope that Goofy's wearing his little skeleton outfit, because I love Skeleton Goof. He's adorable.
I'm just buzzing for it. I'm really excited.
Anything that has Max.
Oh yeah, I'm there for it. But does that mean that they're just going to be like out at a dance party? Can you not meet them?
They might be dancing around, but
Oh,
like
like
you can
a
get
movie.
quick, like,
Snaps.
yeah.
Okay.
You can have a little bop with them, take a quick little picture. We'll be stealthy.
We always are.
We always are. Next up, every hour, fantastic creatures will invade the land of the dead in Frontierland for the Fiesta de la Tierra de los Muertos. Jesus, that's a long name.
Yeah, I read it out to my mom and I was like,
Wonderful.
oh, just I got all that out in one go.
Where you can also dance to the rhythm of a DJ throughout the evening.
There's a lot of dancing.
Often not a DJs. Maybe it is all the DJs.
It could be. It's too many DJs.
So I assume this will be taking place over by Cowboy Cookout, that kind of area, back over
Where there's a lot of dead space.
Hey. Then we have Are You Brave Enough? Will be back. So this is the show that Ursula will be part of. That's the name of it, which I can only assume is that song that we heard a few weeks ago from the videos is in that show.
That's exciting.
Which I'm excited about.
It's a
That
good song.
is. But yeah, so Are You Brave Enough will be back with guests such as Jafar, Ursula and Maleficent, and will feature a new sequence. So there'll be a special little change to the castle show specifically for the Halloween parties, and this will be played 5 times during the night.
That's a lot.
Disney villains take over the Disney Villains Halloween Parade. Don't miss the Halloween Cavalcade, where the Disney villains are the stars of the show, and that will be happening twice. As far as I'm aware, I think it's all the same floats as the regular Halloween Cavalcade, but it's just villains on it.
Oh, okay.
Whereas before it has kind of
Everyone.
a bit of everybody. This is the one that I am the most excited about. So I'm just going to read word for word straight from the press release. This is all one point. This is all one bit of news. Strike a pose with Jack and Sally from The Nightmare Before Christmas in front of Phantom Manor. ... And expect the surprise appearance of a new character.
I don't know any other Night Before Christmas character that is available to me that isn't Oogie Boogie.
Oh my god, if it's Oogie Boogie, I'm actually going to cry.
Like, it originally when you sent me that, I was like, oh yeah, whatever. Okay, but it doesn't necessarily just mean Night Before Christmas. But when you see the full press release, everything is spaced in paragraphs and bullet points.
Yeah.
So they obviously would keep the Night Before Christmas stuff with the Night Before Christmas stuff.
Yeah.
So I think it is Oogie Boogie. I'm just putting it out there.
I'm going to lose my goddamn mind if I get to meet Oogie Boogie.
I'm already well prepared for this instance.
I'm pretty sure last week when we were doing the tag, one of the questions was, what character would you like to meet? And I said Oogie Boogie.
Yeah, you did.
So if and now you and Ellen can do whatever you want, but if I have to spend the whole night queuing up to meet Oogie Boogie, I'll do it.
Yeah.
I'll quite happily do that. So
I'm very excited. Because the only other thing
I'll lose my goddamn mind.
The only other thing I can think of is something to do with Zero. That's like a puppet or a graphic.
Not impossible.
No,
Or
and I would
like
also
one of
like to
those
see
little
that.
one of those little statues.
Yeah.
Like,
or it might be the mayor.
Oh,
I do love the mayor.
Yeah, I've just never seen the mayor.
No, neither. But I've seen Oogie.
Hmm.
Oogie has been a character in the parks before.
And I just feel like for DLP, they are getting better with everything in general.
Yeah.
But for them, it's probably easier just to bring Oogie over rather than introduce a brand new character. It's like, would a brand new Night Before Christmas character make their debut in DLP? It just doesn't seem right.
I mean, I will be hyped for whoever it is.
Yeah.
As long
as it's not.
As long as it's not Dr. Finkelstein, because he is not my fave.
Oh, that'd be weird.
He creeps me out.
I hope it's not that.
Ugh. But if it's Oogie Boogie, I will lose my goddamn mind. But they're very heavily suggesting that it will be Oogie Boogie. Yeah. Especially because in Disneyland Resort, which tends to mirror DLP more so than Walt Disney World, their whole new Halloween thing is Oogie Boogie's Bash.
Yeah, it is, you're right.
Ooh.
How exciting.
Keep an eye on our Instagram stories. I'll be losing my goddamn mind.
I wonder if we can find spoilers from somewhere.
That Facebook page?
Yeah.
Interesting. I guess we'll see. Next up, if you dare, explore Adventure Isle at your own risk to find the treasure chest and get ready to meet Captain Jack Sparrow. New mapping on Skull Rock will make the experience even more impressive.
Is that spooky
This is basically DLP's take on Halloween Horror Nights.
I don't want to go there.
At all?
No.
I want to at least go see Skull Rock because
I'll go
I'm
see
intrigued
Skull Rock,
to see what these...
But I don't really want to go near anybody that feels like scaring me.
Okay.
So no go from me.
No bueno.
No bueno.
Next up, feel the sound of the animated film Coco, which I love, with the performance of a very special Miguel puppet at Coco's Hacienda on the terrace of Fuente del Oro Restaurante Fun Fiesta.
I'm so excited for this because I'm pretty sure it's going to be the exact same puppet that's in World Showcase.
See, what I don't understand is they had Miguel, not last Halloween, the Halloween before that, when they only really did Halloween in Frontierland because the 25th anniversary was going on. They had a Miguel puppet then.
Oh.
And they also had, it was like Goofy led a procession around
I remember
Frontierland, and there was these little skeleton things which were real cute, which I would also love to see because I love me some dancing skeletons.
You do indeed.
But yeah, I'm super excited because I'm happy that they're bringing this back because I was a little bit sad that they didn't have this last year, but it looks so cute. So cute. And then last but not least, meet your favourite Disney characters for the entire evening, as well as a unique atmosphere of lights, music, special effects, and numerous mapping. Numerous mapping?
Where?
My favourite type of mapping is
I guess on the castle?
Oh,
It
yeah,
just
probably,
says
yeah.
numerous mapping.
Yeah. But it might be everywhere. It might be down Main Street as well.
I love mapping on Main Street.
Pumpkins.
Did
Pumpkins
you-
everywhere.
Did you watch Disneyland Forever?
No, not yet.
Oh, we're watching after this. And says, finally, wearing a Halloween themed costume is exceptionally allowed and encouraged for the evening. Be creative and take part in the crazy atmosphere of Disney Halloween parties. This is very clearly translated from French, so some of the wording is a little bit off. But
Better than last time.
what are you most excited for? Because we're actually going to the Halloween party this year.
I'm really excited to see this show with Ursula.
Yes, but we'll get to see that during the day as well. So if we miss
Are
that, it's
we
not...
specifically talking party?
Oh yeah,
Oh, sorry.
because this is all about the party.
I honestly think I'm most excited to see who the new character is. Because regardless of who it is, I love meeting new characters, and I love the fact that I get to meet a character that I've specifically paid into a thing to go to. What?
We'll know before we go.
Oh, because the other party will have been on.
Because we're going to the party on Halloween night, so whatever happens will happen on the 26th, and let's call a spade here. 89 are going to be there.
They'll be there.
So we'll know. So I can mentally prepare if I'm going to meet Oogie.
Oh, thank God.
But what if they change the character?
They
Stop
won't.
it.
That's
What
not
if
a
they
thing they
do?
do.
What if it's the mayor the first night and they're saving a super special guest one for actually Halloween night?
I would see. It would be nice if that was true, but DLP are a bit too lazy for
Yeah,
stuff
they're
like
too
that.
lazy for that.
But what if?
Yeah, so that's everything. Oh, what are you most excited for? I presume not.
Yeah, I'm 100% most excited for that.
I'm also really excited to see Miguel.
Honestly, I'm actually just excited to be in Disneyland
For
on
Halloween,
Halloween because, if you've got 17 episodes in and you've not realised by this stage, I love Halloween. It is my favourite day of the entire year. So I'm just going to be bouncing around the walls anyways. So getting to go to a Halloween party in Disneyland on Halloween and potentially meeting Oogie Boogie, I'm going to lose my goddamn mind. The only thing that could make it better would be if I could meet the Sanderson sisters. That would be the only thing, which is not an option, but that would be the only thing.
I'm going to need so much sugar.
Oh, yeah. But there's no trick-or-treating,
No,
which is sad.
I'll just stock up on my own supply.
Yeah. We'll go back and actually take a nap before the party.
Oh yeah, like actually take a nap and stuff.
Yeah.
So
That's it for Halloween.
Sorry. Then a bit of sad news. Moana is no longer a scheduled meet and greet down by Hakuna Matata due to technical issues.
Which is seemingly, from what I was able to decipher online, there were issues with her costume and there was issues with scheduling.
Oh.
Now,
Oh, I get it.
now that's as far as we're going to go because we're not going to ruin character integrity, but yeah.
Do you really not think that's mad? That's really bad at DLP that they couldn't schedule Moana.
I think where the struggle is, now she has been there since, so I saw someone post online the other day that she was there on Saturday. She has been seen since and she is there every so often, but she's just not on the map as a scheduled meet and greet.
Yeah, because
Because-
they can't schedule times for her.
Exactly, because I think, if you look at the Princess Pavilion, it is always hours of a wait.
Mm-hmm.
And that's with having however many switch outs they need to, and switching the princess completely halfway through the day.
Yeah.
Not having to do the Princess Pavilion, which I think is what everybody would rather do, and it being the most recent Disney princess.
Yeah,
That's a
definitely.
lot of pressure to put
Yeah.
in the summer.
Mhm.
So she is still available, and like we always say, keep an eye on ED92. She's just not there permanent.
Which is a bit sad, to be honest.
Yeah.
But, there's only so much they can do.
It is very much an understandable situation.
Yes.
But I mean, what gets more Adventureland-y than Stitch?
And do you know what? Nothing says more to me about Adventureland in the far out. Stitch doesn't really fit into Adventureland.
No. I mean, they have at least put a lei on him, but...
Aww,
Well, that's cute.
Yeah, he at least has his little flowers, but
that's at least something different.
it's a stretch. It is an absolute stretch.
But at least also Stitch isn't one that's commonly out
No,
as a
very
timed
true.
greet, so at least it's something.
Very true, very true. Next up, some kind of sad news. First of all, it was announced
Keep the
that...
sad train going.
Yeah. First of all,
Choo choo.
it was announced that no more seasons will take place in Disneyland Paris without having themed food and beverages.
Well, that's good news.
especially for the Halloween time. I wonder what new Halloween food they might have.
Apples. So many apples.
They always have apples.
More.
Okay. So that came out from the Eatertainment group.
Oh, fantastic.
Lads.
I love it. I love it.
Love a good Disney pun. But on the back of that, some people were asking about what potential food Princess and Pirates might get for 2020. They're not getting any because it's not coming back.
That's sad.
Honestly, it looked like a really fun season. The princess costumes were questionable, but other than that, the season looked really fun.
Yeah, by the sounds of it, a lot of people really enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's like it seemed to have quite a big following. I did see one person say that the annual pass holder party kind of, I suppose, packaged up the last of the storyline for it. But I'm kind of like, not a lot of people were at
That party.
and without kind of, I suppose, an official announcement. It's just, what a weird way to find out.
Yeah, and also, the only positive we can take from this is that since Pirates and Princesses isn't returning,
Yeah.
we can hope that they're going to bring something new to the table,
Yeah.
which is always exciting for DLP, and considering we've talked about it loads in the past few weeks, especially with the Lion King and Jungle Festival and how amazing that is.
Absolutely.
That maybe we'll get something equally or even better than that when Pirates and Princesses should be on. Because they're definitely having some trial periods with that specific time of the year. Because it went swing into spring, and Pirates and Princesses.
Yeah.
So maybe they just haven't quite found something that works from like a maintenance perspective.
Yeah.
Or like a scheduling perspective or anything like that.
I wonder if, because they moved Pirates and Princesses that bit earlier into the year, and because of the way climate is now, a couple of them had to get cancelled because of snow and stuff. I wonder if they're trying to think of a season that is better suited.
But also, wasn't there a casting for your man, the pirate? Wasn't there a casting for him to come back? Jimmy, whatever his face?
Jimmy, I don't know.
Do you know the guy I'm talking? Jimmy Ocean.
I don't know. I don't know.
Do you know the guy I'm talking about, though? Apparently there was a casting call for him to come back.
Maybe it's for some... Because they used them for everything, though.
Yeah, but that's like... I think everyone thought he was going to come back for Pirates and Princesses.
Yeah.
But he's obviously not. So, it's just...
What's your thoughts? Are you sad that you can't see Pirates? Because this would have been on when we were going for our anniversary. It's just a permanent thing that is happening now.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I've been informed. This sounds like something I would have wanted to check out, but again, much as you guys have touched on, I don't see them getting rid of this or taking it off the schedule for 2020 unless they had a pretty good idea to replace it with.
Yeah, because DLP are getting very good at having things on all the time, which is great, because if you're going to keep hiking up the prices, you want something extra to be there.
New
not
and
just...
great and shiny.
Exactly, because we all love shiny.
Shiny.
Watch me dazzle like a diamond in the rough.
Either way, when we do go for our anniversary, we'll get to see whatever they've put in to replace it, because that's at the end of March.
Sure. At the start of the podcast, we were talking about how gosh darn warm it's been,
honestly,
this past few weeks. Last week, Disneyland Paris hit highs of 42 degrees Celsius.
42 degrees.
That's disgusting. So I don't know if any of you have ever been to a theme park when it's been quite warm. Even in Alton Towers, they have this. They've got like little spritzer misters is the word I was looking for, like up high, which are just spout water at you.
Yeah.
So it was so hot in Disneyland Paris that not only did they not have misters, they just had fire hoses from the DLP fire department, and they got a screwdriver and poked a bunch of holes into the hose so that water could spurt out at guests in large quantities.
Yeah.
They MacGyvered it. This is fine.
Exactly. No, but that's just how ridiculous it was.
They turned all of Walt Disney Studios into a splash pad.
Pretty much. Then there was one day where they had to have a summer parade.
Yes.
Or a hot day parade, where it meant that there was no floats, basically.
And it was all... I think there were a handful of floats, but it was all face characters.
Yeah, so... Which is fair.
That makes sense.
Understandable.
And then they put on some extra face characters that aren't usually in the parade. 100%.
Yeah.
But then the next day, it got even hotter that there was no parade.
Yeah. Which is completely... Like, at the end of the day, cast member safety should be...
Number one.
Everyone's safety should be number one. And if there is a parade, regardless of how warm it is, people want to make sure they have a good view for it. So people will camp out on the searing hot pavement.
Oh, I can't imagine how hot that is on your bum.
Honestly. So they did swap out a lot of characters. So for instance, where Pluto has been at the boarding house, it was switched to Pinocchio, and then where Donald Duck normally is, it was switched to Alice in Wonderland. So they any of the particularly furry characters, shall we say,
That's fair, yeah.
were swapped out, which makes complete sense because at the end of the day, they need to make sure that people are safe.
Yeah, absolutely.
In ridiculous temperatures.
Which is upsetting because due to global warming, this obviously isn't going to get any better.
Yep.
But it also means that it obviously doesn't mean that DLP should just stop offering characters.
Yeah.
But I guess they're going to have to start thinking of ways that they can offer the characters in the heat, because this heat, as we've spoken about, is heat that is currently in Florida, and they have characters out all the time. Like,
sure.
The heat doesn't stop them. So I guess they're going to just have to start thinking about other ways that they can basically not just shut down when it gets too hot.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think ultimately sort of the safety of both their performers and also anybody who's there as a guest ultimately is going to be something that you have to come up with as many different contingency plans as you possibly can. Now granted, that's freak weather. I think that one particular day where it got up to 42 degrees, I think that was actually a record for French weather in terms of temperature.
Exactly.
So obviously thus far it's been a bit of a freak experience, but as you say, in the future it's not going to be. So if this allows them to sort of bring in, I suppose, future plans for if this happens, it also opens out a number of other options for just, as you say, interactions with any of the characters.
Yeah.
Regardless of the weather. So this is only a good thing.
Exactly. And like, weather regardless, guest satisfaction is always number one.
Well, guest safety is always number one.
Oh yeah, true. Then comes guest satisfaction.
The safety begins with me.
You didn't work for Disney, you know.
No, I didn't work.
Be glad. So, moving swiftly onwards, DLP has announced their date for PhotoPass Day.
Woo-hoo!
Yeah!
Whoa, alrighty.
Jesus Christ.
Someone's excited.
So, PhotoPass Day for 2019 will be taking place on August 18th, which is typical DLP because World Photography Day is August 19th.
Like, why? What is their problem?
DLP, have we not talked about it? Maybe it's because it's a Sunday. They wanted to have it at the weekend.
That would make sense.
But, I mean...
Aye.
Oh, typical DLP. But anyways, Disneyland Paris will once again celebrate PhotoPass Day this year on August 18th. And ED92 even put a bit of shade a day before World Photography Day. Expect surprise photo locations, more photographers, stickers, and fun accessories. So they'll have all their little frames out. There'll be some new characters. The sticker actually looks real cute. Oh, that's from last year. Never mind. But yeah, if you're in the park on that day, keep an eye out. Especially if you have PhotoPass, make bloody use of it.
It's really exciting because now we get to see, like, they might throw some things out on PhotoPass Day that are testers.
Oh yeah, to see what sticks.
Yeah, so hopefully we might see some new things that will become more permanent.
Absolutely.
And oh my god, we're still on DLP. Jeez, this is a lot of DLP news this week, I have to say.
This is the last bit though.
Dumbo is reopening on August 3rd. Yay! I'm so excited.
I realised I've never been on a Dumbo.
That's crazy.
I've done the other versions of Dumbo.
It's
I've
not
done
the same.
Astro Orbiters and the Magic Carpets.
Yeah.
But I've never done Dumbo.
No.
What's wrong with me?
Dumbo's your OG.
How have I been to a Disney park? 9 times.
And not been on an elephant.
And
I
not been on
don't
the
know.
elephant. So we're doing that when we go in September.
I'm really excited to see the paint job because I presume it's gotten a paint job.
Yeah.
And I hope that all the elephants work again.
It's been closed for quite a while, so I would hope that...
My top 3 things that I'm looking for are that the down where the water is has been cleaned and washed because it was vile and there was so much rubbish in the bottom of it. It was actually disgusting. So I'm hoping that has been cleaned out and washed.
Okay.
I'm hoping the elephants are really vibrant.
Okay.
And then I'm hoping that all of the elephants work, as in they move up and down when you pull the lever. Because I've been on 2 separate elephants and they didn't work.
Okay.
Yeah, so they're my top 3 for Dumbo.
Are you excited to go on Dumbo?
I am positively thrilled.
It's going to be real fun.
It's great because you get a woo view of Fantasyland.
A
woo
view, exactly.
That's the best kind of view.
Because you're up there and you're like, woo!
Ric Flair is a big fan.
Woo!
He is. Moving on to some sad news. I feel like we've had a lot of really sad news recently.
Yeah.
Which is not ideal. So, the Disney... is she a Disney legend?
She is.
She is a Disney legend. You checked?
I did check this. She was a Disney legend. She was inducted along with her husband in 2008.
What's her husband done?
Her husband was the 3rd voice of Mickey Mouse.
They were the married Mickey and Minnie.
Oh, delightful.
That's... Oh, now it's even sadder. So... We'll backtrack a little bit. Russi Taylor unfortunately passed away this past week. And if you don't know her just based off her name, she has been in everything. She has been Minnie Mouse, she's been the Three Fairies and Sophia, she's been Huey, Dewey and Louie, she's been in The Simpsons.
She was 5 reasonably big side characters in The Simpsons.
She played Pebbles Flintstones in the Flintstones and the WWE Stone Age SmackDown.
The legendary movie that it was.
She played about 17 people in Jake and the Neverland Pirates, Disney Infinity. She was in absolutely everything.
That's
she was
amazing.
in the Haunted Mansion game. Who was she? It doesn't say. Oh, she was Minnie Mouse in the Haunted Mansion game. Cute. She was in Kim Possible.
Reminds me a little bit of Sterling Holloway.
Yes.
In the sense that it just shows up in everything. You can notice the similarities, but unless you properly connect the dots.
Yeah, unless you listen out for it. But yeah, Minnie Mouse
That's sad.
sadly passed away.
She did some great work.
Is her husband still alive?
No, he passed away in 2009.
Oh, just getting sadder. But yeah, best wishes to her family.
Now, the news moves stateside,
Yeah.
as we do. And we're going to start off with Tower of Terror again. There's been a new magic shot introduced to Tower of Terror in Walt Disney World.
Yep.
So if any of you don't know, a magic shot is basically a picture that's taken during the ride, but something a bit more extra. Basically, it's an extra photo pass.
Yeah.
So what this specific one is, it's a zoomed in photo of you on
Tower of Terror.
Tower of Terror, but then it zooms out and has an animated version of the tower, and it's all flashy and
It's very prettily lit up. Prettily.
what's the word I'm looking for? Lightning. There's lightning.
Yes.
And it's like Tower of Terror.
It looks very nice. It kind of looks like the projection that they did on... It's like a purple version of what they did for Phantom Manor.
Yes.
Aesthetically
Yeah,
wise.
pretty much.
Very nice.
That's really exciting.
I mean, if you're gonna have Memory Maker in Walt Disney World anyways,
Go for it.
and you're gonna go on it, you may as well. You also get a video.
Take everything you can.
That's now 3 things that you get on Tower of Terror. Because you get an actual picture,
Yeah.
you get this new magic shot picture,
Mhm.
and then you can get a little video.
That's a pretty cool deal.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. All including your Memory Maker.
Bargain.
And if you book your trip from either UK or Ireland, it's pretty difficult to get a package that doesn't include Memory Maker.
Which is good, because
Which
when
is
I
good,
went,
yeah.
I paid for it, and it's expensive.
But definitely worth it if it's pretty much any package now automatically includes Memory Maker in it if you book it the right time, which is 11 out of 12 months.
And last but not least, for park news, we are getting some new things for the Boo to You parade.
Ladies and gentlemen, bats and ghouls, Mickey, Minnie, and all their friends have come together at this spookiest time of year to say boo to you as they proudly present the not-so-scary Mickey's Boo to You Halloween Parade!
I love Boo to You.
Boo to you. I'd sing that song all week.
It is amazing. So, some new things that are going to be happening, as Disney Parks have put it, the Disney Parks blog. Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party is already a must-do experience every fall in Magic Kingdom. And it's even more so this year with the debut of the incredible new Disney Not So Spooky Spectacular.
Ooh.
A new interactive treat trail on the Monsters Inc. laugh floor. And attractions updated with new Halloween twists. Now we're excited to announce that there's even more to look forward to with some great additions to the Mickey's Boo to You parade.
Boo to you.
So they give you a little tip where they say you should always watch the second parade, which in fairness, if you are there without children, always watch the second parade because it's a bit later and it's generally a bit quieter. So there's a new Tomorrowland unit going into the parade, which brings the Incredibles and designer extraordinaire Edna Mode to the Boo to You parade, followed by Buzz Lightyear and alien explorers discovering crystalline treasures on the surface of a planetary playset float. Which, I won't lie, I don't understand why.
It's not very Halloween-y, is it?
No, it's not. But they are bringing in a particularly exciting Halloween-y thing. So, as Mickey and Minnie trick or treat down Main Street, USA, representing Liberty Square, the Haunted Mansion unit featuring the hitchhiking ghost and new addition, a spectral bride who glides among the waltzing spirits.
Ooh!
I cannot wait to see what this looks like.
That's exciting.
I cannot wait.
There's a lot of newness this year.
There
I
is
have
a lot
to
of
say.
newness.
Like, for the past few years, I feel like everything's been pretty standard.
Yeah.
And there's not been much rejuvenation in a lot of the parkside stuff.
Yeah.
In stuff that's been there for a while. But this year seems to be the year of new.
It really does, because I know besides I think the Sanderson sisters were, I suppose, the most new thing that had gone into into Mickey's Not So Scary,
Yeah.
and that was in 2015. And I know last year they brought in some ride updates, which everybody seemed thoroughly underwhelmed by. So there was an actor in Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah.
The teacups had like Halloweeny music and different lights, and then they turned off all of the lights in Space Mountain. You loved it. So it was literally just pitch dark and had like spooky music.
You're grand.
Which apparently didn't really add anything.
No, because I mean Space Mountain's dark at the best of times.
Yeah.
So, but this year, I mean, new additions to the parade. I'm intrigued to see what that interactive trick-or-treat trail is.
Yeah.
And we're getting the brand new fireworks, which I'm really apprehensive about. But mercifully, the Diz always get some damn good shots of fireworks.
They're there, smack bang middle with their HD 4K camera. They're there for it, if you will.
Profesh.
Yeah.
But yeah,
That brings us to the end of the news.
it does.
And you know what that means, Breffni?
What does it mean, Kate?
What day is it today?
It's Tuesday.
You know what that means? So, we have last week's Special Guest Tuesday and this week's Special Guest Tuesday.
So many guests. So many Tuesdays.
Breffni, who was last week's?
Last week, everybody, I hope you're sitting down because I'm about to blow you out of your seats. It is Merlin from Sword in the Stone.
A lot of people seemed really underwhelmed by Merlin.
Yeah, there was a lot of people who were like, nah, I don't care. And I'm like, oh,
Made me a little bit sad.
poor Merlin, like, he's just doing his best.
I'd be quite happy to see Merlin.
So
Merlin's quite a unique character.
Yeah.
I'd rather see him than Pinocchio.
I can see why that's maybe necessarily one they probably went with, because do either of you play the Magic Kingdoms mobile game?
No, but I know you, Breffni, loves it.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yes, I'm currently on a 100-day streak playing that game.
Not surprised.
Yep, and Merlin is pretty much one of the central characters behind the main story behind
Oh,
it. It's
wow,
essentially
really?
him versus Maleficent as you go to expand the park out.
Why have you not played this, Sinead?
I did, but I got kind of bored.
Oh.
It's one of those games that you have to check back to every couple hours.
Oh.
Yeah.
Which fits me perfectly for what I do as a job, but
Like
so
Strike
it's
Force.
totally fine.
Ever played Strike Force?
No.
Very popular Marvel game.
Oh, yeah, there you go. But yeah, so that was last week's. This week, we had Joy and Sadness.
Hey, I love Joy and Sadness. I'd love to meet them.
I feel like Joy and Sadness are like Guest Star Tuesday staples. Every kind of couple months they bring them back out, which is no bad thing.
No, they're quite good characters.
They're cute. I would love if they would throw Disgust in there as well, because she's my fave.
Is there a Disgust character?
I don't know.
That's a
But
good
I feel
question,
like
actually.
I feel like she wouldn't be a difficult character to pull off.
No,
Like,
you'd make her the same way you make Joy and Sadness.
yeah, but either way, Joy and Sadness, how exciting. One thing that did come up in the past week or so, we've mentioned a couple of times a Disneyland Paris like planning Facebook group that we are both a part of.
Which is great to be a part of.
Absolutely,
I enjoy it.
you get some fun tips. One thing that, and we don't really know how they do it,
Yeah.
but they seem to be able to find out who Guest Star Tuesday is a good bit before Guest Star Tuesday takes place, so generally the morning of. And it kind of, I suppose, sparked up a bit of a debate with ourselves that we asked on our Instagram as well, whether you would rather know who Guest Star Tuesday was going to be, or whether you would like to wait and have it as a surprise. Breffni?
I would like to wait and have it as a surprise.
I'm much the same, and
Me too.
I know you are. So, like, when we were there the last time, I had, like, turned off my notifications for ED92 because I didn't want them, because I know they generally watch from right up by the gate where the character comes out.
Yeah, and then they're like, boom, who is it?
Yeah. So, I would, because at the end of the day, I usually kind of designate Tuesday as main parade day anyways.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because of Guest Star Tuesday, so... But some people did make some valid points that they would rather know ahead of time due to
Reasons like
physical issues and stuff
Yeah.
like that. Totally fair. But we asked on our Instagram, so 13% said they would rather know as soon as possible, but a whopping 87% said that they would rather be surprised on the day, which is very exciting. We did pose this, well, Kate did, to the WhatsApp group, the Facebook group, as to different ways that they could maybe kind of share the information. So if people wanted to know, they could. If people wanted to keep it as a secret, they weren't going to get a notification and get it spoiled. So.
Yeah, because sometimes I'm just on Facebook and it just pops up.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, great, cool, fab, now I know.
Yeah.
But
So-
either way, we won't be spoiling it on our Instagram until it's 100% officially confirmed and people have seen them with their very own eyes in the parade.
Exactly.
Because you never know with DLP. Everything's subject to change.
Ooh.
So yeah, that's it for the news.
So, on to the main bit of the podcast. We're going to do a full introduction to the lovely Breffni.
Hello!
So, Breff, tell us about your background with Disney.
Well, the first thing I should probably just go into as regards Disney in general is probably that the very first movie I ever saw in the cinema was Pocahontas.
Same as Sinead!
Yep.
You're soulmates.
So it largely comes from that, and then much like most things I got into as a kid, it was largely just whatever VHS tapes my parents happened to acquire. So after that, it was mostly just watching a lot of whichever ones we got in order, which I could remember for a while. The first one was The Jungle Book, then it was Beauty and the Beast, then Bambi, then Robin Hood, then Snow White, and so on and so forth. They were not in any order of when they were made. It was literally whenever Disney happened to release the VHS tape at the time. So that's largely that, and then obviously got into Pixar quite a bit once Toy Story came out. I, at one stage, had one of the original cinema movie posters for Toy Story, and I believe it got thrown out.
Oh, no.
Long before I would ever have wanted that as badly as I do now.
That's sad.
But it is a bit sad, but it's still, all that very much stayed with me. And then, probably the biggest Disney-related story to tell about me is the first time I went to any Disney park, which was Disneyland in California, when I was 7 years old.
This was 1973.
73. It was 1996.
When? Do you know what time of year you went?
It was the very end of June.
Kate was a month old.
Yeah.
It was the very end of June of 1996.
Oh, I wouldn't have been long on the earth.
Kate, oh, Jesus. Kate was a wee baby.
And what I can tell you about this is something that I think may have been referenced a little, but maybe a tiny bit previously. I remember very little of this trip, and there are a couple of reasons for that. One being I was 7 years old. The other...
That'll do it.
That'll definitely do it. The other thing that'll do it is there was a slight thing involving the Matterhorn. So I will tell you this story with absolutely no intention to scare anybody or put anybody off rides or anything like this. Okay, right. So this would have been a long time ago. There are different safety protocols and things like that since then. It is a long time ago. I'm 30 years old. A lot has changed. So myself and my mom went to the Matterhorn. The reason we did is because my brother and sister went off to, I think it may have been Splash Mountain.
Okay.
And I was too small for that because I'm quite tall now. I was a really short kid. So I couldn't get on a lot of the different rides. Mm-hmm. Pretty much as hardcore as it got was the teacups up to that point. So we just thought, oh, hey,
don't knock the teacups.
Yeah.
No, I absolutely won't. But it's... Of course. But what essentially happened was we went to get on the Matterhorn. We're sitting about halfway down. My mom was on the left-hand side. I was on the right-hand side. And my mom did the usual thing, obviously, much like with airplanes. Attend to your own seatbelt before attending to anybody else. So hers was absolutely fine. Mine, on the other hand, it never buckled. And my mom at the time was trying to get the attention of, the ride attendant and so on and so forth, and was not successful in that, and the ride took off. Now, I remember the ride taking off. I remember nothing thereafter, but I did watch a POV video of that ride a couple of years ago, and I got an immediate flashback to a very particular point. As it turns out, there are 3 days of completely blanked memory that I have as regards that trip, because I think we were there for a week. But there are 3 days that are completely blank, and I've had a really dodgy accent ever since.
And that was story time with Breffni, ladies and gentlemen.
Make sure everybody's buckled in. Pull on the yellow dab.
Absolutely.
Pull on the yellow dab, please.
And most importantly, if there's a problem, put your hand up, or whatever you necessarily need to, but there won't be, because that was 23 years ago.
Yeah, I'd like to just say that every single ride I've ever been on in DLP, they've double-checked everything.
Oh yeah, they always make sure that you have your seatbelts done, even on Pirates of the Caribbean.
Every time, Sinead, every time!
So the main thing that comes out of this is that I hadn't been to a Disney park until last year when we went to DLP.
Hadn't been to Disney park since.
Yes, since then. I hadn't been since then, and ever since I have just actively avoided roller coasters. Wonder why that is. They're just, oddly enough, they're not my bag.
That's fair.
Yeah, so I'd largely stayed away. Water parks and things like that I really liked, but anything on a track or something like that,
That required buckling.
anything that required any form of seatbelt I wasn't particularly on board with.
Uh-huh.
So that is largely kind of where the parks thing goes for me with Disney. It ended up extending a little bit further into when I went to college, because I originally had these big fanciful ideas of being an English teacher, and I got 2 weeks into an English degree and realized I hated English. So instead, what I opted to do was take up film as an elective to make up credits, and I ended up absolutely falling in love with it and going on and doing a master's where I worked a lot on animation.
Mm-hmm.
So as a result of that, there was even one time I gave a lecture to undergrads on Fantasia,
Wow.
which was a really cool experience. And I think it's possibly the only time that anyone has ever academically linked Fatboy Slim and Fantasia, but I found a way.
Of course you did, Breff.
I absolutely did.
Where there's a will, there's a breath.
And since then, it has mostly been for me just kind of being quite affectionate towards Disney as sort of a film production house, as a studio, more so necessarily than the parks. I think that's possibly because of the mental association a little bit, but not out of any badness or anything like that. I just feel a lot closer to the films in general. Case in point, one of my absolute favourite films is very much on my forearm in a lot of different colours.
It's a tattoo, ladies and gentlemen. It's a tattoo.
Just for clarification.
Just for clarification, I do in fact have a giant Wall-E tattoo on my arm.
It's very pretty. We will get some pretty pictures of it soon and post it up.
We certainly will. It is not quite healed yet, but it is getting very, very
Not
close.
ready for its photo shoot.
It's not ready for its close-up.
Should get in there. Should get in there. So, what is your favourite Disney ride?
My favourite Disney ride. Now, earlier, if you remember, I accused you of lying.
You did. It was very rude.
I was genuinely thought I was going to be in the middle of some sort of domestic.
No, but I need to tell a story here, which I think you've told as well. It's,
I've told my side of it.
You've told your side of it. Well, I'll gleefully tell my side of it. You see, there's one thing that in general, partially because of the roller coaster thing, I like to know what's going to happen in something beforehand. Not exactly, but I like to kind of have a rough idea what to expect.
Yeah.
Sinead, with Pirates of the Caribbean now.
Yeah.
Now, beforehand, I was kind of semi-nervous about it, because again, it's a ride I don't know. I didn't look up any other, POV videos or anything like that beforehand. Tried to limit the amount so that I could just have this, sense of discovery as a 29-year-old, just going in and discovering everything new. But at the same time, I didn't want to know everything, but I still wanted to know something. So, Sinead, what did you tell me about the Pirates of the Caribbean ride?
That it's a lovely boat ride.
She was not wrong, Breffni.
It is a lovely boat ride.
No, that's true, and that I will grant you. It is a lovely boat ride, and you were not wrong.
No.
But when I asked, were there any drops in this ride, what did you say?
I said, sure, there's no seatbelts. If anything bad was going to happen, there'd be seatbelts.
I'd like to interject that was not a lie.
That was not a lie, but I was very insistent on finding this out, and then
I was just being quite coy.
As Ed like to say, it's lying by omission.
And then all Sinead would say would be, it's just a lovely boat ride, which was driving me mad, and I know that's why you kept saying it, because it was doing it, was that even if you just said there's a couple drops, they're not bad, that would have been fine.
Where's the fun in that?
Either way, first time I went on Pirates, I wasn't on board until it was finished.
No, you were on board, Breff. You were on board.
I was on board and I remained on board. With the general feeling around it and not knowing what was going on, I couldn't really enjoy the experience, because there's just a point where you just realised there was a boat there a minute ago.
And that's what I wanted you to experience. that like, oh.
But I would have had that anyway.
No, you wouldn't, because you would have known there was drops.
Well, I assumed there was one when I couldn't see the boat anymore.
Yeah, but I mean, it's all mystery.
But either way...
So you didn't enjoy your first ride?
I didn't enjoy the first ride, but we went on another 2 times, and another 3 times.
More pleasant?
Oh, absolutely. It's my favourite ride.
Good choice. It's a great ride, as we've spoken about previously.
It's a long ride.
It's a long ride.
10 minutes? 10 minutes? How is it 10 minutes long?
R.I.P. earphone users.
Sorry.
I think we were also very lucky in the sense of when we timed going to Pirates as well,
Yes.
and I think that makes a huge difference.
Was it always a walk-on?
Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah.
Oh, excellent.
Pretty much. Or go to the left.
Yep, that was largely it. Like at most, it was maybe about 5 or 10 minutes once you got through the queue.
We did have this has just reminded me, we did have a really fun time in the queue where there was this group of Americans in front of us. And they started to say how glad they were that Disneyland Paris was finally starting to do anything to do with Halloween. It was finally trying to catch up with any of the American parks, which I argue DLP has better Halloween offerings than both of the American parks. Maybe not more so than DCA, because DCA's daily offerings are pretty good. But DLP, you get all the Halloween characters, you get Jack out during the day, you have a Halloween parade, and you don't have to pay any extra for any of that. So she's going on about how she's so pleased that Disneyland Paris is trying to catch up with the American parks, and how Disney World is so much better even though it charges you extra for everything. And she was like, yeah, because I mean, us Americans started Halloween, and they're doing it because Americans love Halloween so much. And I was like...
Did you say something to her?
You came so close,
I'm
because she
pretty-
was annoying anyway.
I'm pretty sure I did. I definitely said that Disneyland Paris has stronger offerings than America that they don't charge extra for.
But you didn't mention that Halloween was an
No,
Irish
I
holiday.
did. No, I did. I was
Oh.
like, no. I was like, Halloween originates from Ireland. And she was like, nah, it's an American thing. And I was like...
Oh, I'm
I
surprised.
also originate from Ireland.
It's like, no,
It's an
not.
Irish thing.
I'm surprised you didn't throw her overboard.
Mercifully, they all got on a separate boat.
Oh, thank God.
I don't think I
You
would
were
know.
seething.
I was so annoyed. No.
Do not mess with Sinead and Halloween, ladies and gentlemen.
That was, I think, the 3rd time. So the 4th time was glory.
Yeah.
Ended on a happy note.
Yeah. He even put his hands up. It was very exciting.
I did do
Wait!
that. Was that the 4th time, or was that the one where he did the back-to-back shot sitting in the front, which...
Oh,
I
you
don't know.
cuties.
It's red.
It was very literally sitcom promo photograph in the front of this of this ride.
Fab, so Pirates of the Caribbean's your favourite ride.
Yes.
Then what was your favourite character?
Now this one's really tough. Out of the characters I met, Parisian Minnie
Oh,
is
She was
right
very
up
cute.
there. She was super cute.
Softy.
He was trying to be real suave.
Oh.
He was like kissing her hand and twirling her.
I was being a complete gentleman.
Good.
It was very cute.
Aside from that, I would say Tigger, but I have Tigger is more from, again, when I was 7, but it's the character breakfast, which is the one thing that any time I go to any Disney park, I will always insist on doing. So, again, when I was 7, one of the main memories that I do have of this is the character breakfast, which I think we did on, it must have been like the 2nd day we were there. And again, we didn't really know what to expect from it, because again, we just knew we were going to Disneyland. We didn't look up anything at that stage because it was 1996 and you had to send away for the VHS tape and things like that, so we weren't bothered doing that.
Imagine we had to do that to plan a Disney trip.
The internet wasn't a thing, it was a
No.
shot in the dark, and whatever there was
crazy.
a photo of in the budget travel brochure or whatever it was. So went in there and there were just characters walking around. We were expecting them to just be like, oh, hi, hello, and I had like my little autograph book, which I still have. And
I've never seen that.
I've got it somewhere very, very safe.
Good.
Can you find it?
I'll give it a go. I've been
I'll
looking
text
for 2
Carol.
years.
I'll text Carol.
She'll know where it is, actually. Yeah, so it was all the typical characters that you had. I think it was the ones that I remember. Obviously, Mickey Mouse, Goofy was the chef, of course. Eeyore was there as well.
Oh, you went to
Goofy's Kitchen.
Goofy's Kitchen.
Yes.
Oh, sorry, continue.
Yes, went to Goofy's Kitchen, and then Tigger bounded in, which was great fun. Winnie the Pooh was there as well, actually, now that I think about it. Tigger bounded in, and Tigger proceeded at that point to force feed every single person at the table, which was one of the funniest things I have ever seen. He then was largely trying to flirt with my sister. Nevertheless, it was just incredibly funny. He stole my dad's hat. It was just a really, really good time. But the main thing is,
He stole my dad.
I mean, you probably could. Brendan's quite small.
just put him in his pocket. Be grand. But there was one particular photo that we got on that trip, which is of, I believe, Tigger basically shoving a croissant into my face. And I wanted, more than anything else, if Tigger was going to be at the character breakfast last year in DLP, I wanted the same shot. Now, obviously, since then, there's probably some variety of rule about force-feeding guests. So he wouldn't take the shot.
Oh, did you try?
Yeah, we asked.
Aw.
And
I think Tigger was quite Parisian,
Oh,
so I don't know if he really understood.
that's unfortunate.
But we can try again in October.
we can try again, but either way, Tigger will always kind of be a character who I have a real soft spot for because of that experience. So that was really, really cool. Aside from that, I am obliged to say Buzz Lightyear.
He's fun.
Oh, good stuff.
Especially when you're like, which button is for Spanish Buzz?
Oh, and he's totally into it, and then he dances around, and good times.
He's great.
Buzz was the only character that I kind of got a little starstruck by.
You
which
got
is
so
ridiculous.
starstruck.
Isn't it mad how you get starstruck meeting characters?
It's ridiculous. It shouldn't make any sense.
Yeah.
But it just does. And maybe it's just the fact that Buzz as a character is a rather large character.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
that
it's
does
quite
make a bit of
broad.
a difference. Yeah, exactly. So there was a bit of that, but it was just, nope, I got completely starstruck meeting Buzz Lightyear. And it's something that made absolutely no sense objectively, but I don't care because it was a great experience.
Excellent.
What character have you been most starstruck by?
It's a good question. The very first time we met Punzi and Flynn in the parade,
Okay.
I was so taken aback I couldn't speak. Because remember he was asking questions and I was like...
It's so accurate.
Like, I couldn't really speak, and then he was like making jokes, and he was like, show me your smolder, and it actually took me about 5 seconds for my brain to register. Thanks, Breff. That was delightful. It took my brain a good 5 seconds to register what was happening.
Okay.
So, probably that.
Okay. I'd say mine was probably the first time I met Jack as well. Because
that was a lot.
Jack, when me and Breff went, was good. He was
very insulting.
He was very Parisian.
Yeah. It's very French. But the Jack that we met in 2017...
He was fantastic.
Spot on. But... As Breffni said, when me and Breff met, Jack was like, and what is your name? Breffni was like, Breffni. And he was like, what a terrible name.
Which was hilarious. I will grant you. That was fantastic.
That character integrity is sweet, man.
It was so funny. I loved it. But yes, that's favorite character. What's your favorite movie? We've told you can have 2 and you can have no more than 2.
Okay, well that's perfectly fine. There are ones...
Starting the stopwatch.
There are a couple that I will just mention off the side as being favourites, but not absolute favourite, because I kind of have to.
We said 2.
You're cheating.
The favourite, they're not at the very top, but they're ones that I have a major affection for.
You can have 1 honourable mention and 2 favourites.
Okay, honourable mention is Robin Hood.
Great.
Okay.
Fantastic.
And there are numerous reasons for this. Most definitely because it's the one Disney film that both myself and my dad absolutely love, and it's still something that we both quote to each other routinely and have done so for the last 25 years.
I didn't know that. That's real cute.
Yep, happens all the time. It's some variety of either Prince John or Hiss quote always comes up, or the safety's on Old Betsy. Any of those lines come up very, very regularly.
That's cute.
I've never seen Robin Hood.
You should definitely fix that. It's one of those ones that's from that weird Disney animation period where there's a lot of recycled shots and things like that, and it's definitely done to a budget. But it's not the strongest film. I will acknowledge that Robin Hood is not among Disney's technically best films, but in terms of overall affection for the story, and especially affection for the characters overall, it's absolutely worth your time. But as far as absolute favourite movies go, I'm going to take those 2 picks and I'm going to divide them in half. One half is going to be Disney classic animation, the other half is going to be Pixar.
Right.
So my favourite classic Disney film is Beauty and the Beast. Absolutely, hands down.
Are you including the live action in this as well?
I'm not including it in there, though I'm quite fond of the live-action version. I'm very much in agreement with you guys in the sense that the live-action Disney movies, but especially not quite, there are some obviously that don't count, i.e. Maleficent, but there are still ones like Cinderella and Beauty and the Beast, which I do think are very good films by themselves. And I think it's a good way of telling, admittedly, an already told story.
Yeah.
But the animated version of Beauty and the Beast wasn't my favourite as a kid. It became one of my favourites, sort of the more I learned about animation.
Okay.
Oh, that's interesting.
Because as far as when it was made from when they started working on it, I think it was 1989, so by the time I showed up, and when it was released in 92, 93,
Couldn't tell you.
Sure.
There were so many just small changes that made it both seem classic and completely updated. The one that everyone obviously goes back to is the ballroom scene.
Mm-hmm.
But just the complexity of that as a work of animation is absolutely amazing. On top of that, it's just littered with brilliant characters and just absolutely fantastic songs. As one of my, if not my favourite Disney villain of all time, in Gaston. Now, of course, as we all know, this isn't queued up at all. Any Disney villain needs a good, proper villain song. Now, obviously, Scar has Be Prepared. Other characters have other songs. So there's always a good villain song. The Gaston song is one that has resonated with me my entire way through life because of how incredibly ridiculous it is. To the point where I will gleefully make up alternate lyrics while I'm just going about my day.
Can you give us an example of one such rendition?
Well, say you're in the bathroom.
I'm in the bathroom.
All right, you're in the bathroom. Fantastic. It's been a very long day, and all you want to do is relax. And so you put in some bubble bath, put in some Epsom salts, you put in
a bath bomb.
You put in a bath bomb, whatever it is that you need to do to properly relax. And then you're sitting back, you're relaxing. It's all lovely and warm and toasty, and you feel absolutely fantastic. And then you pick up either, say, a bar of soap or whatever it may be, And what inevitably pops into your head is things along the lines of, no one scrubs like Gaston, rub-a-dubs like Gaston, and goes splashing around in the tub like Gaston. Yes, his new facial cream is exfoliating. Good skincare day for Gaston. Da-dum-dum.
You know, as you do as you're in the bath.
But nevertheless, to bring it all back to Gaston as a character in Beauty and the Beast, there's just so much to love about that film. It only has gotten better over time for me, and as well as this, as you get older, you start to appreciate more the fact that I am basically just the human Cogsworth.
You are.
Oh my god.
Except you're never on time.
Except I'm never on time.
Oh, never. Sorry.
Except for the airport.
Oh, yeah.
Except for the airport. I'm
I'll
always
give you that exception.
either on time or pretty damn early for an airport. Any other time, no. Take whatever time I say, add on 25 minutes. That's roughly when I'm going to show up.
Yeah.
So that's Beauty and the Beast. On the Pixar end of things, this changes every time I answer this question. The most obvious one would be WALL-E, because I think it is obviously very important to me, and I will tell you why. Because right around the time that I was doing...
Is WALL-E your favourite?
WALL-E, I'm going to say is my favourite for the purposes of the rules that you gave me regarding my favourite.
Great, because I was like, if you're going to start a story about WALL-E, it better be your favourite.
It does change every other time between Toy Story and Toy Story 3, but I'm going to talk about WALL-E.
Great, continue.
So, part of the reason I have the WALL-E tattoo is because in 2008 was right around the time that I, as I mentioned earlier, was just sort of starting to get into film studies a little bit, which originally was literally just to make up credits, and WALL-E came out, and I remember probably the single best day that I've ever had in the cinema is when I went to see The Dark Knight and then WALL-E at exactly the same day. And it was absolutely brilliant. WALL-E is a phenomenal film. And especially the first, whatever it is, maybe 25 minutes where there's no speech whatsoever. Mm-hmm. That just kind of echoes back to, much like the Hello Dolly link does, it links back to...
Is this from Hello Dolly?
So going back from Hello Dolly...
Yes.
The importance of it in WALL-E?
Yes. So the importance of it in WALL-E, because it kind of echoes back to silent cinema, which I really properly fell in love with throughout film studies. Just being able to tell stories without necessarily having dialogue. Mm-hmm. On top of that, it is one of the absolute prettiest films I've ever seen.
Oh, it's stunning.
Absolutely, yeah.
It is absolutely beautiful. The defined dancing scene outside the Axiom spaceship, there's a reason that's exactly what my tattoo is. It is possibly my favourite scene in any film ever.
Wow.
It is absolutely magical. WALL-E is just one of those really honest-to-God sweet films. There is not a single thing wrong with it. And for that exact reason, that's why it's probably overall, I think it even beats Beauty and the Beast as regards my favourite Disney and Pixar film.
Ooh. That Breffni stamp of approval.
And the Peter Gabriel song in the credits is banging.
Great.
Hey, there we go.
So now that we know everything about Breffni,
yes,
we're moving on to the subject of why Breffni's here.
Yeah.
But we couldn't have done this without you knowing a bit more about him, so...
Exactly. So we wanted to kind of cover off what is it like, I suppose, being... How to phrase this? What it's like going to the Disney park as a Disney super fan, shall we call myself. Going with someone that
As a layman, basically.
Yeah. Someone that's not necessarily as into Disney parks. Does like Disney, but isn't singing the Mouseketeer song, shall we say.
I think that possibly the biggest thing to note there is that for someone who is not as big into parks or anything like that, there are certain things that are obviously going to be, bigged up quite a bit before you go there. So there's obviously certain things that you'd be really excited about, that you really want to check out, that you really want me to check out so you can watch me experience it for the first time.
Oh yeah, that was the whole trip.
And that was literally the whole trip. So that's a really good aspect of it beforehand. My main sort of thing that I would say is to anybody who's in that position, to not look up things beforehand, to just kind of let that enthusiasm kind of radiate through and just kind of go from there. The biggest shock with that, however, is the atmosphere of the whole place is very different. Because you can go to other theme parks where it feels like I'm very distinctly in a theme park, but I also know I'm somewhere in the middle of Lancashire. Which is a little bit of a thing. You constantly have that reminder of the fact that you're in a physical space which feels real. Disney doesn't feel like that. It feels like you're kind of off in a different world, nearly. Well, you can leave it, and then you will go back into the place where you came from.
Which is an awful time.
Which is not that fun. But it's more to do with that. It's that Disney is a little bit kind of overwhelming, but as you kind of walk through, like kind of more things hit you.
Yeah.
So you kind of have a rough idea of what to expect, but it's only when you find yourself usually pretty much up by the castle for the most part. When that happens, you sort of go, right, and then you look around and you realize, I can't see where I came in. I'm completely in here now. It's more to do with that. So if you're going with someone who is a huge Disney fan, their enthusiasm just radiates through everything. And that can at times be kind of seem a little bit overwhelming, but not necessarily in a negative way, because you can basically channel that and just go, okay, right, so there's definitely something here. So the main thing that I would say is to absolutely go in with an open mind and just go, okay, right, so there's going to be some stuff that is going to be okay, but there's going to be some stuff which is going to be absolutely brilliant. It's more a case of give everything the benefit of the doubt when you go in.
Okay, cool. I think that's probably the best way of probably explaining it. What was something that you didn't expect to like as much as you ended up liking it? Was there anything that just totally shocked you or caught you off guard?
Where you were like, I know, like if Sinead was like, okay, we're going to go meet characters, and you were like, that's just going to be rubbish, like I'm an adult.
I didn't so much have that attitude towards the characters, but the thing is, me personally, I'm a little bit weird with any kind of face paint or costume.
Okay, like my mom. My mom hates.
Yeah, I don't know what it is.
Like it.
I don't like face paint. I don't like masks. I don't know what it is about that. And I just wanted to say that I hadn't been around Disney characters before. Obviously, I had. But it was more that was a bit different because I was as a kid and, you know, it's a sort of a different environment.
It's a lot easier to understand as a kid.
Exactly, yeah. Whereas if you're going up as someone who's in their late 20s, early 30s, that doesn't have, you know, kids around them who are just kind of being sort of front row center, it's a bit of a different thing.
Them goddamn millennials in parks, am I right?
Childless millennials.
Filthy, a lot of them. But it's more to do with the fact that it's that first interaction where you don't really know what to do with your arms or the rest of you.
Which is fair, yeah, because it's not like talking to a human.
No, it isn't. But at the same time, you also know that, okay, so there are other people around and this is kind of cool, but it's also a little bit weird, but there's also kids around who are going to see this, which means you have to play up the enthusiasm, how it's really, because it's much about their passive experience going past as it is about yours.
100%.
And you do need to kind of throw yourself into that. So I think the first character we met was Devil Donald.
Yes.
Which was... Initially, it was partially because it takes me about 3 days to wake up in the morning. So...
And don't I bloody know it.
So as a result of that, I can't remember if I'd had coffee or not. I don't think I had. I hadn't had coffee, so that was a bit of an issue. So I was just more a case of, okay, right, so I guess we'll go over and do that, and we'll go and say hi. And then the second you do, you just kind of go, this is awesome.
We'll go and say hi. I just imagine you being like, geez, we're queuing this whole time. We're going to go, hi now, and get a picture and walk away.
It wasn't quite that down,
okay.
But it was still more a case of, okay.
Did you not, like, honestly, for the very first time you queued up to a car, did you not get it? Like, as you were queuing up, was like the
I got it
apprehension kind of like, Dad, Jesus.
Well, we were quite early in the queue, if I remember.
Yeah. So something that me and Kate kind of always recommend is, especially for the likes of Donald and Minnie that have definite meet and greets in certain places, the character might not be out there if you get into extra magic hours quite early, so just queue up there anyway. So Donald hadn't actually come out when we joined the queue, and we'd probably been in the queue for maybe about 5 or so minutes.
Were you the very first ones in the queue?
No, there was already a little bit of a queue because
okay.
we didn't get there quite as early as we would normally get there. So
I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm not singing domestic again, lads.
So when Donald came out, your whole body language changed, because initially you were quite like a little bit sleepy. We're like, why are we doing this? Not necessarily, not that you were saying it, but you could very much tell by your body language. You were like, I just want to sit somewhere and have coffee. And then Donald came out, and your entire body language just shifted entirely. You were like, oh, this looks fun. Oh, look at him.
That was quite literally what happened. It does make a big difference if the character is there or not, especially when you're queuing up.
Yeah. Because
you're just kind of going like, oh, why am I standing here?
Yeah,
I could be not standing here. I could be over there. Over there looks nice. Like you can you can have all of these sort of different thoughts about it.
Call him my name.
Exactly, and I think that's probably the biggest thing. I wasn't expecting to get as much out of the character interactions as you actually do.
Wow.
And they make a lot more sense to me, necessarily. Not they didn't make sense beforehand, but you get so much more out of them, like a lot more so than just a photo.
Yeah.
And I do remember that, especially towards the end of that trip, you start becoming a little bit, I guess, not judgmental, because that's the wrong word, but how people choose to use the time with the characters.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You start kind of paying attention to it a little bit, where there's just some people who will just go up and literally just go, no interaction really, photograph, did it, and off you go.
And they're in and out in less than 60 seconds, like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or they ask for multiple different angles and things like that, and it's actually nothing to do with the character interaction, it's just, I stood beside this character.
Yeah.
And that's largely it, and I'm kind of going, you've just wasted a huge opportunity. Have fun with this.
Oh my god, I'm so proud of you.
That was so cute.
But that's so true, because you do start noticing that you're missing out. It's like, I view it as like you're not getting your money's worth.
Yeah,
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely not.
Because the characters are there to, like, it sounds really bad, but the characters are there to entertain you.
Yeah, and I mean, if people just wanted something to stand beside, you could just stand beside a statue.
Yeah, like, they're there, they're real, and they will interact with you. So why not
It must be real sad for the characters when people just come in, take pictures, don't talk to them and leave.
It must make their day, like, so boring as well.
Yeah.
Like, imagine being, like, even just imagine when people are retail staff, never speaking to anybody, and no one ever having a conversation with you during your 8-hour shift, let's say.
Yeah. I suppose, I mean, we've all had really good experiences with characters, so maybe it's that kind of, when you do make that bit more of an effort with the character to kind of chat to them and talk about their film or whatever, you do get that bit more out of it, so...
Yeah, I'd never be afraid. I'd also never be afraid to go for, like, the sort of out there reference.
Oh yeah,
because there's a very strong possibility they know what you're talking about.
Oh, they know those characters know their stories inside, outside, and backwards.
Yeah, I just remember. Well, who were we with? And I kind of threw a really random one out there, and I got a response. Like the character, like agreed with me or disagreed with me or something. I can't remember what it is now. But, like, it was something very much kind of out there. And the character was like, oh, yeah, you betcha. And I was like, okay, great, cool.
Yeah.
So don't be afraid to go into detail about their movie or about their personality, because you'll get it straight back.
Oh, yeah.
No, absolutely. You get as much out as you put in. And it does kind of give you that opportunity to ultimately just kind of embrace what the Disney parks, for me at least, are largely all about, which is that you're not here to just be around some Disney stuff in a regular part of the world. You are kind of here to get lost in this whole entire atmosphere. And I kind of feel that you're really losing out on something if you don't kind of commit to it. I understand being reserved and being shy, that's how I am naturally, but there's also the performer switch that everyone has. And to a certain extent, to a large extent, you are equally as much of a member of the cast for some little kid running around as anyone else is. So you have to do your part. If you're there, you act like the most excited giant child you possibly can.
That's fair. And I feel like even if you're somewhere in the front of the queue, they can help with kids. Like, I remember even when, who were we queuing for? We were queuing for Thumper, and there was kids in front of us, and they weren't too impressed. But we were like, kind of hyping it up. Now, it turns out that they left because Miss Bunny didn't come out, and that's who they were looking for.
Oh.
But the kids were very much like, we started talking to them almost.
Yeah.
And they were like, oh, these people are kind of interested. Maybe we should also be interested.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a really fair point, Breff.
Absolutely. And a really key point to that is sincerity. Because anybody knows when you're just kind of going like, woo, yay, fantastic, this is great. It's literally throw yourself into it.
Yeah. There's no point, like, you're just going to regret it. Like, you're just going to look back and be like, I can't believe I didn't really just use all my time properly.
Exactly.
Like, who cares if you look a bit like dope? Like, you're in Disneyland.
Everyone looks like a dope.
Everyone looks like a dope.
Woohoo. So, two very important questions.
Yes.
What do you feel, the best part about going with a self-confessed park fanatic? Do you feel?
Or, like, your overall highlight?
The overall highlight I'll get to in a little bit.
Yeah, because I feel like they're kind of different.
Oh, sorry.
But I do have a definite answer for that.
Cool.
But as regards sort of the best part about going with someone who is that into the parks and knows that much about it, there are actually several really big advantages to it. One, it depends on how you kind of approach these things. So there are going to be some people who want to go, who want to have, you know, they're going to look up the character, the meet and greet schedulings. They're going to have the extra magic hours if they have them completely mapped out. They're going to have everything kind of done out to a schedule.
Sinead.
Now, there's nothing wrong with that. However, as Sinead can attest, it's not really the way I like to do things. But the best sort of compromise that we found between the two of us was to largely start the day with a bit of a checklist. And largely just find ways of just going, okay, well, you wanted to do that, so we can go and check that out now because that has a wait time of whatever it is, 20 minutes. You can get a fast pass for this in a few minutes. You might as well go and check that out. Those are really big things. A big one for me was also the fact that you knew your way around.
Oh, yeah. You didn't waste time getting lost.
You didn't waste time getting lost or constantly staring either at your phone with the app or staring at one of the paper maps or anything like that, or going around asking cast members. You weren't wasting any of that time. You knew where you were going. It doesn't take very long to build up that familiarity. If nothing else, you know where. Oh well, I want to go and do the Slinky Dog ride. Okay, I know that's beside RC Racer, which must be over there, which is presumably by Crush's Coaster, and I know where that is because that's over here. You do make those sort of associations in your head.
I mean, they're not both huge parks.
Well, there is that as well. But even then, this can also be applied to the larger parks.
I mean,
because you do...
We still don't know where Indiana Jones is.
Oh, praise be.
It's we figured it out when we were there. It was a bit of a distance behind what was a blocked off area.
Did we?
Yes.
Oh.
It's really far away, isn't it?
It's very far away.
Out there.
But neither of us had any particular interest about going on it. So there was that. But it was mainly just having a good appreciation for at least, especially the first and second day, where everything was, roughly how long things were going to take, what was definitely worth checking out first, what's worth waiting a little while to do, what's worth doing in the evening, what time is a good time to start queuing up for the parades, where's a good spot to go for the fireworks. Just things that you know from just either being there before or just picking up advice from other people. That is extremely helpful because the rest of the time is, from what I would imagine, just a bit like, what are you going to do now? Well, I haven't had coffee in 3 minutes. I think I better go and do that. It stops you from doing that. So if you approach it with a checklist with someone who knows what they're doing, you get everything done, you don't feel stressed, you're not running around like a mad thing, and if you don't get everything on your checklist, that's alright, you have another day.
I'm going to take that as a solid endorsement for myself.
Yeah, pretty much.
Nathan, Kiva, Ed, hope you are taking all this on board. And then on the flip side of that, what was the worst part about going with a Parks nut?
I wouldn't even necessarily say that there was a worst part to this, but there are definitely a couple of, not even drawbacks, but there are certain things to kind of keep in mind. Okay. So, for example, there were one or two things that, because I had no preconception or knowledge of things in advance, that you were super enthusiastic about, and... I was trying, astonishingly enough, yes, you were very, very excited about a number of things, where just building up to it, you kind of become hyper aware of the fact that you want to seem excited as well, even though you're not, because you don't really know what to expect.
So you feel like you should be bouncing off the energy,
yeah,
but you don't know why.
Exactly. So this was one thing that kind of, that it didn't get to the point where it bothered me at any point, but it was still something that I was aware of, was that I didn't want to feel like I was taking all your positive energy and just draining it. I didn't want to feel like that. And I think that can also be, you know, an issue that some people might have, especially if they're going with people who are, either if they're going for young kids who are super excited and they're not really on board or whatever it is. You don't necessarily need to be full-blown super duper hyper mega yay the entire time. But there's still very much, you know, keep an open mind, and also just, if you find yourself just kind of dropping in enthusiasm a little bit, or just getting towards the end of the day and you're just getting tired and you wore the wrong kind of shoes and your feet are sore or whatever it is, just have a look around. That's what I learned how to do. Have a look around and see kind of how everyone else is reacting, and realize that you're part of this much bigger ecosystem. And as part of that, you're just kind of going like, hey, these guys are having fun. Oh, that's real cute. Oh, look at that old lad who's wearing a golf polo shirt and he's wearing these mad looking Minnie Mouse ears. You just kind of look around at these different things, and you start feeding off that as well. Yeah. So you're not just, you know, sucking energy from the other person effectively. You're sucking it from everyone around you, and kind of channeling it in that way. So it was more a case of, it can be difficult to sometimes keep up with that enthusiasm, but there's always ways that you can find ways of kind of alleviating that, or at least making it a little bit sort of easier on the other person. Because ultimately, if you're going with someone who is a big fan, you don't want to let them down as a non-fan. You want to kind of, because they will have certain expectations, subliminally or otherwise, as regards how they want you to react, and you're kind of aware of that. Yeah. But at the same time, you also don't want to, you know, fake it or anything like that. So you do kind of need to just set yourself up for what these things are. So I'd say that's probably it. That there is somewhat of an invisible expectation from the big fan of how you're going to react.
Because we just want you to love it so much.
That's exactly it.
And we'll be so upset if you don't.
Yeah. Oh, exactly. and it's coming from the biggest place of positivity, But the main thing is that there are going to be some things that you don't like. There are going to be some things that you just freak out on. Not mentioning anything in particular. Hyperspace Mountain. I am never going on it again. Actually, part of that was to do with the building up about me having my problem with rides and wanting to get over it. The reason I went on Hyperspace Mountain but wouldn't, for example, go on Big Thunder Mountain was because I kind of thought, I will go with the one that I am the most scared of first, because then all the other ones won't seem as bad.
I mean, that's a good plan.
It was a good plan, except that it really wasn't a good plan. For anybody else, it was a really great plan, so I'd encourage you to try it. It's not the worst. However, it would also possibly be an idea of working your way up in terms of general levels of complexity and knowing as far as you can go. So that's largely it, is that you don't want to disappoint the superfan that you're going with by not reacting in perhaps as animated a way as you feel they want you to. Mm-hmm. But that level of expectation is kind of false because it's not really there. Yeah, it's more a case of everyone wants the other to have a good time and feed off positivity. So just keep that in mind as best you can, and just if that's not working for you, just have a look around and see how happy everyone else is, because that makes a difference too.
Yeah. I suppose the big things for me that I kind of had to bear in mind, one was that I was conscious that the pace that myself and Kate, for example, would usually do a Disney trip at.
Yeah, it's quite fast. We're quite go.
Yeah. And I was conscious that I didn't want to completely wear you out.
Yeah, I think
so
that's fair.
I was conscious of taking things at a bit of a slower pace.
A more leisurely pace, yes.
Yeah. And then the other thing, I suppose, which kind of feeds off what you said there, was I was conscious to try and not look at you at certain points. So, like, if I knew something that you would like during the fireworks or during the parade would happen, trying not to look at you so you'd expect something.
Yeah.
It's real difficult to do.
Gotcha, yeah.
It's real difficult to do, because obviously I wanted you to kind of experience it yourself, but I knew if you could see me out the corner of your eye looking to gauge your reaction of something, that you would know that something was about to happen.
And then the problem is you kind of adjust what your reaction is going to be, and it's not
you want
natural.
It to be good,
Yeah. Whereas if you just turn around and someone's just going like, "Oh my God, fireworks!" and you look at that is a much better reaction. The problem is you have to do it in such a way where whether or not it's lean back and just go, or just not necessarily look directly at someone, but you do kind of need to temper those things a little bit.
Yeah, amazing. And last but not least, what is your top tip to stay sane in Disney?
Read the map first, know where the bars are. Aside from that...
In fairness, one of our top tips is always to go in and have a cocktail in the Disneyland Hotel.
Yeah, true.
It's a really good tip, but in all seriousness, probably the answer to this is there are very few things that you can do on any sort of holiday or vacation or whatever it is where you can just completely throw yourself into what it is that you're doing and throw yourself into the experience overall. And as I kind of said earlier, probably the biggest tip to stay sane is largely to accept the fact that we're all mad here. Throw yourself into it, because that's how you get the most out of it. You can kind of stand there and be a little bit kind of, there's hilarity going on. Not sure I approve. You can sit around and just be kind of very stoic and things like that. And I get it that huge enthusiasm isn't for everyone, but it's not necessarily putting on the big, well, hey, thing and pretending you're in a circus act or something like that. It's more a case of, if something's happening, just let it happen and just open up as much as you can to what's going on. And most importantly, just pretend you're a kid again, because there's also a big factor, the fact that, alright, so I'm 30 years old, but that means that I'm 30 years old, but I've also been 29, 28, 27, 20, and you remain being all of those ages, because different things just kind of stick with you at different times. So you remember exactly what it felt like to be like 8 or 9 years old. And you remember the sort of things that made you laugh at that time are probably going to be a little bit similar. Some things always carry the whole way through. It's more a case of putting yourself back in that headspace, where you're not worried about anything else. Where instead you're just going like, you know what, this is really, really cool. Let's just see where this goes. So that's probably my biggest tip for staying sane, is to embrace the madness completely.
And to just bounce off that, I would also recommend not really caring about the fact that you're older, because the cast members don't care.
No.
Nobody cares.
I know that a lot of people would be like kind of reserved and be like, oh my God, these people work here, like they're going to think I'm so crazy for like jumping up to Donald at like 8:30 in the morning and just being so, like, they love it. Yeah. Like, they will be totally with you on it. Like, they will bounce off your end, like whatever energy you're giving out, like
100%.
Like, as their job is to bounce back off you. So I just 100% go for it and not care how old you are.
No, exactly, because like you're making their day more interesting as well. Like, what immediately kind of pops into my head was Jordan on Rock and Roller Coaster.
Oh, yeah.
Who was he was living his best life. But it was kind of feeding off that same energy that kind of we were giving back as well. So
Yeah.
be nice to your cast members.
Be nice to your cast members, they'll be nice to you. I always remember that, like, the majority of, like, I say the majority because there's always that one or two cast members that just isn't in it.
Yeah.
Or with it. But the majority of the cast members, they're just as crazy as you are. And they spend all of their days off going to the park themselves and enjoying themselves. So they know what you're at.
That's exactly it. And part of it is also that the second you walk through the gates, you're part of the performance.
Exactly, yeah.
Because it doesn't make anywhere near as much of an impact on, you know, the general people in the park or whatever it is, unless you're playing your part as well. And that means at least from my perspective anyway, it means interacting with the characters, it means interacting with the cast members, it means really properly getting into it. Because Disneyland kind of works as an atmosphere and an aura because of everyone's attitude to it while they're there.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
So that's the way you get the most out of it by far, is just accept the fact that, put on your little performer ears, because that's what you're doing.
Cute.
That's real cute. I'm so proud.
I like storytelling.
So after all of our interviewing questions
Yes.
and annoying the crap out of Breffni, what was your plain and simple overall highlight of the entire trip, just to round us all off here?
I cannot underestimate how much of an impact the fireworks have.
Just wait till one day you see dreams.
No, it's... I hadn't really, when I was 7, I don't remember the fireworks at all.
Mm-hmm.
I remember being very young, and by the time the fireworks were on at that stage, I was back in the hotel with either a parent or one of the other sort of extended family members I was on that trip with. But the fireworks and the lights and the music, and it just becomes this huge, massive performance art that you just all of a sudden find yourself accidentally a part of.
Right, yeah.
And it's just completely smacks you in the face. And then continues to do that for about 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And it's for all of the waiting around and the standing and just getting a bit sore and just being a little bit annoyed by everyone sitting in front of you or standing where, all of that goes away. Absolutely all of it goes away, and that's probably the biggest highlight was the first night that we properly watched the fireworks, because it just completely wraps you up. Like, you can watch any video you want on YouTube, on any vlogs or anything like that.
Very true.
Of fireworks. There is zero substitution for being there when they're there. Doesn't matter how good the video quality is, doesn't matter how good the sound quality is. When you're there, it's completely different, and you don't care about anything else.
That emotional gut punch.
Yeah.
That you get from
Completely.
the
The fireworks will
Disney
pummel
fireworks.
you emotionally, and you will be very glad of it. And that is largely what it is that there's nothing quite like it.
Wow. And that's coming from a show that's not very good.
Way to go to Disneyland. California. But yeah.
Thanks so much for being on, Breff.
Well, thank you very much for having me.
I feel like you've added a bunch of stuff that, like, we couldn't have come up with ourselves because
We're too
not
involved.
you. Yeah, we're too much into it already.
we're too involved. But yeah, if you have any other questions or anything like that about how to approach Disney with a significant other that might not be quite so Disney Parks inclined,
Hello there.
shoot them over to us at Mickey Waffles Pod on Instagram. We did get a couple questions from some people, but as you can already tell, this is a very long episode. So we're going to hold on to those, and we will cover those off next week when we also start our Fantasyland series.
I'm so excited.
How exciting. So yeah, thank you for listening, guys. We have announced the winner of our giveaway over on Instagram. You can check out our Insta story highlights on our page. The winner will be in there as well. That's the episode for this week, guys. Thank you very much for listening.
Good morning.
Good morning.